Why is that good? Why is it sometimes even preferable maybe to?
Yeah, especially if you can play a lot. Like obviously sometimes when you play on those teams, there's a lot of timeshare. And so, but if you can go and experience that and play against the best players in the world, especially in your age division, I think it gives you confidence. No different than like, you see somebody playing as a 15-year-old, like in 17 and under AAU, and you're like, oh man, he's just okay. And you're like, no, I've done it for 33 years. Like he's really good. Wait in 2 years. But the difference in college is you don't play the same age. So but it builds confidence for those guys and it really helps them. So obviously having Daniel going to the USA tryouts, then Omer, playing for the Israeli national team. And then, Oscar, he'll have a chance to play this summer. I don't know if he is or he isn't. He should be here in a couple of days. So.
With Daniel, just considering the competitive time he missed last year,
right.
Does that make it an extra benefit to get in?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, we took it slow getting him back. Like, you could have rushed it, like, there at the end, and I just didn't think with somebody as bright a future as he has, it makes sense to do that. So, yeah, he just has to, be honest. The one thing that happens when you have surgeries and any type of injuries with competitive people is they lie to you. They tell you they're okay when they're not okay because they want to play. It's you always looked at it for a long time as that's a good thing, right? But a lot of major issues happen with compensation. Like something happens where I'm not aligned through my hips, and then something happens to my knee because I'm compensating for that. So you have to be really careful, but especially with size. I think one of the things is just him getting his wind. And also like his weight, he's up at 253 of playing with more weight, which, we hope that he can continue to do that, or at the worst, maintain his weight. I think that's the one thing once you get into the season, you're not going to gain weight, right? But if you can maintain, that really helps.
I will, but
no, I'm pretty good at gaining weight.
Matt, I know summer's often about addressing what you were deficient at the year before, but how much does size just fix things for you?
Yeah, I think, Daniel's place will help us, with rim protection. He's got to prove that he's, a consistent rebounder. Just because you're tall doesn't make you a good rebounder. Where Oscar has proven he's a good rebounder. Like anytime you can average, 12 and a half rebounds a game in college already, like you've proven that fact. We need TK to be a better rebounder. We need a lot of other people that have played to help us, rebound the basketball. But, our efficiency in transition was one of the best in the country, but our volume was too low. We just didn't get enough opportunities because we didn't get enough rebounds. So with Braden's ability to push it, and some of our guys like Fletcher's ability to to shoot those rhythm threes in transition, and I think we got a chance to be a really good team in transition just because we're going to have more volume.
How do things have to change for Trey playing next to a 7-footer a lot of time, assuming that's how things play out?
Just the understanding of spacing and the differences of how people defend stuff. You have a 4 that's quicker, you have a 4 that's more agile. A lot of people pick on the biggest guy on the floor, and we're no different. But you just gotta get to that matchup and see what you can get. Maybe that just means more post-ups for him, right, as a 4-man, and force them to get into a double. Anything that you can do to get 2 on the ball, to get people in rotations, whether those are post-ups or dribble downs or Braden coming off a ball screen, whatever it might be, right?
Should the 4 make him a better rebounder because the 7-footer might be taking up some gravity?
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. I don't think there's a lot of truth to that. So, but obviously was a prolific scorer, one of the best scorers in college basketball last year. Just being around the basketball and having a nose for it. But yeah, you hope that. But you also defensively you get out more when you guard a 4. You get away from the rim more. Not all the time, but more 4s shoot 3-pointers than 5s do, obviously.
How do you envision the dynamic on the wing kind of changing this year with presumably Jakari and CJ playing a little more at the 3 spot?
Yeah, well, I think Fletcher obviously will play a lot at the 3 spot. So I don't look at CJ as going over to the 3 spot. Jakari can play some there. Jack Benner can play some there. I look at CJ more in there with Braden. Jakari, like them more in there. Omer Meyer. So I think Jack will really help from a spacing standpoint and just a basketball IQ standpoint.
What did you see him get out of the freshman, of the redshirt year? He was kind of out of sight, out of mind in some ways last year in terms of the conversation about the redshirt, but
Right. Yeah, no, he's a good player. Like, no different than like someone like Sasha. You know, just like you need opportunity. He's got to get himself in there and be able to take those opportunities. And sometimes if there's more minutes there, he's going to have, you know, more of an opportunity. If there's not, then, you know, you got like, you know, PJ's on our staff, and, you know, he started 3 years, but he didn't redshirt. Sasha's on our staff. He started 3 years, but he did redshirt. So it's just, you know, kind of getting that opportunity. I think a lot of those guards that we have, like, you don't want to take anything from them at this point, but the window of opportunity, obviously, with guys that have started their whole careers. You got 2 guys that, you know, play 30-plus minutes in that backcourt. So nothing's guaranteed, but it's pretty close to a guarantee, right?
Will you experiment a little bit with Jack at the 4?
Yes.
Just to see if there's going to be like a 4th guard lineup? you
Yes.
can
Amen, yeah. No doubt about
use? Why?
that.
What would be the
Just because, you know, Liam, you know, like he was out there a little bit today, but he hasn't, you know, we don't think he's going to be full go until the fall in terms of doing everything. And so just waiting for that competition to kind of see, you know, at that time. So, but yeah, you know, he's got good size to him. He's a big kid. You know, he's got, you know, good length, good size. He can stretch the defense, knows how to play. So sometimes just getting guys on the court. We did it every blue moon last year. We'd go really small every blue moon in certain situations, but not very much.
You have 3 guys who have started a lot of games for your program, and then obviously 2 in the backcourt who have started every game since they've been here.
Right.
How much do you hit the ground running when you have that
Yeah.
bring the younger guys up to speed a little bit?
Yeah, it makes it easier. Like, obviously, the only person that was out there that haven't been in our practice was Antoine West. Like, Liam did a couple things, but he wasn't full go or anything. It really helps to where you can start. You're trying to explain. You know, it makes people that are new get up to speed, because when you have enough to go forward, you're going to go forward, right? And so, like, they know what they're doing. They know what to expect. And it just, you know, anytime you can have a core like that when you're doing things from an offense and defensive standpoint, they just have knowledge of what you're doing. So now, like, you need somebody to carry that torch onto other people and under other players, and those guys that have that experience do that.